Hi, I'm Kristen, and today I'll be talking about the topic of déjà vu. So this past week, I was on the Experiencers subreddit on reddit.com, and I was responding to somebody who was having like a lot of instances of déjà vu, and it kind of got the gears in my mind turning as far as like why does déjà vu happen? What are the theories of why this occurs to practically everybody? Um, so I, like everyone, have had a lot of instances of déjà vu in my life, and there are some ones that kind of like really stand out to me. And one of those was related to what I believe might be like a past life, like driving down a long road past like kind of an endless field. And I had never been there before, but I had like this distinct feeling of I've definitely been here, or I used to live here, or someplace that looked a lot like this. Um, then obviously there's other moments of deja vu where it's like you feel like, well, I remember myself saying this already, or I remember myself being in this exact situation where X, Y, and Z happened, even though they were little small things. Like it just seems like reliving the past. Um, and so the first big theory out of two theories that I've kind of been thinking about, the first big theory is related to what I've heard in near-death experience stories. So there was one near-death experiencer that I saw like kind of posing the question, do you know that feeling of like when you've been somewhere that's brand new to you, or you've met somebody that's brand new, but they seem like so familiar, like you had been in that place before, or you intimately knew this person, even though like you knew that there was no logical way that you would know anything that you were coming in contact with. Like it's just they had never been in your life before. And this near-death experiencer was saying, well, that's because you have uh, pre-birth plans or life plans, and when you make those plans, you're kind of writing out everything that's going to happen in your life, and not just the big circumstances, but the small ones as well. So this person was kind of referring to something that a lot of near-death experiencers talk about, which is the life plans and the life review. So life plans is kind of remembering what it was that you chose to do when you decided to be born and what would happen throughout your whole life. And then the life review is what you actually accomplished and how things actually played out and affected other people. Um, so with a lot of life plans, where it might tie into deja vu, is that sure, like you have your big ones, like life plans, like where are you going to go to college, or are you going to college at all, or who are you going to choose to be with, or are you going to choose to move somewhere, or are you going to stay in your hometown? Like those types of decisions, like obviously those are built into your life plans, but there's like so many small things that happen as well that are built into those life plans that will have like kind of snowballing butterfly effects. So let's say somebody was walking down the street and carrying a coffee, and you happen to bump into them and it spilled it all over their shirt, and then they need to like pop into a cafe or a restaurant and just like wipe themselves off and then go on about their day. Like that little interaction might have been built into a life plan and felt as deja vu as it was happening, because maybe that person had to be delayed. Like if they didn't get bumped into, they might have continued on their path and run into somebody else on the street that they weren't meant to run into, or um, maybe they were going to be involved in some kind of accident, or maybe something was going to happen to them at work, but only if they were like the first person to show up, and by being delayed then something didn't happen. um, but yeah, there is like this kind of idea that even when there's like small insignificant mundane things that come up as deja vu, that those things are really meant to be occurring, and you thought about that and made plans with like your soul team or your spirit guides before you came here, just because in those like little tiny things that you have deja vu over, that might be at a grocery store, or waiting in line in a plane, like waiting in line at like an airport for a plane. um, those things had to happen that exact way in these like little tiny details, or else other things wouldn't happen. And then the other big theory that I've been thinking about for deja vu is that uh, there's different timelines that are kind of going on all around us. And so there are people that believe in like timeline jumping, and um, the idea is that there are infinite amounts of timelines that we could jump into where we also exist. And the kind of timelines that are most similar to what we're currently going through are like right next to us. So if you have that deja vu feeling, that might be a feeling of like picking up on the other timeline that's next to you, where either it's also like the same exact scenario is also playing out in that nearby timeline, and so you're feeling it as it's happening somewhere else as well, or you're picking up on like the feeling of a timeline being slightly off. So you might be picking up on, oh, like I had this feeling that I was already doing this, but then it slightly changes at the end, because that's kind of what's happening to the alternate other you that's in the other timeline that's being carried out. um, so yeah, it's like really interesting to think about. I'm sure there's many other theories, but those are the two big ones that really stood out in my mind. And as like a deja vu comes up again in my life, like really strongly, kind of like slapping me in the face, like um, I intend to kind of like sit with that feeling the next time and try to pick up on like, well, why does this seem familiar? Does it seem like maybe it does tie into a past life and this was something that I already played out in another time? Or does it feel like it's almost premonition, like of like the past laid plans from making life plans for my life, and I'm just remembering what it was that I had chosen to do. um, but yeah, there's just so much mystery around all of this, but because it's so common, like there has to be a reason and an answer for why it's happening. And yeah, I, I'd like to know what it is. So I'm going to try to kind of like intuitively tap into it. If you have any other theories or you want to talk about this, like please let me know, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.